Welcome to the Thursday, September 25th edition of the 3-Minute Press Show. I'm Tracy Tolentino. I'd like to welcome back Kevin Parikh, CEO of Avasant, and David Etzler, CEO of Outsource World. Both companies are privately held. Outsource World is the leading sourcing conference for industry practitioners, and Avasant is the #1 ranked business process advisory firm. Kevin and David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now first, how do both of you think the current financial credit crisis will affect a company's outsourcing plans?
Well, I think it's going to actually have quite a bit of impact. I think for some of the bigger firms, what's going to ultimately happen is, if you just look at Citigroup as an example, they're going to, as they integrate and start taking over some of the smaller firms, you're going to see that there's a competitor of theirs who is using services, a third party for services. Citi has a captive center sitting in India. All of a sudden, that captive center is going to start taking over some of the projects that they were outsourcing. So we're going to see a lot of that starting to happen. And I think for the smaller firms, I think it's going to increase the activity. Businesses are finding it harder to compete and thrive in this environment, and they're really going to need to focus on the true core competencies and find partners who can work with them on the rest.
Great. And Kevin, anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question, Tracy, because especially in the mid-market, and I would agree with David on this point, companies under $1 billion, you're going to be looking at them looking for immediate cost savings. The credit issue has also restricted their ability to invest and grow, and as a result of those credit market restrictions, they're going to be looking to save and generate savings in such a way that they can continue normal corporate investments and operations. So outsourcing is going to be a key objective for them, although I would say not this quarter and maybe not first quarter next year, as many companies are in a holding pattern right now waiting to see how the credit markets are going to shake out.
Now, David, what are the biggest mistakes that companies are making when it comes to outsourcing business processes?
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. It's a great question, and something that's pretty current right now. You see a lot of mistakes happening out in the marketplace, and I think the #1 thing that I see is that companies just truly don't understand what the real goals and the value they want to achieve by outsourcing. I think kind of the old days, it was about reducing costs, and it's not just sufficient to say that anymore. You have to really start thinking about, by outsourcing, what additional value are my customers, my partners, and my employees going to attain from this. Secondly, I think it's not having enough sufficient resources, and when I say that, it's not just about money. It's about all the segments of your business, the supporting segments, the people in your HR department, your IT department, your operations department. How are they going to get involved in this initiative? And if you don't have a plan incorporating all that, it's going to fail. And I think the third thing, which a lot of businesses have, this issue, is just not doing the proper due diligence. It's not enough that an outsourcer may have the technical requirements to perform a job. I think it's more about what's the culture of that firm that's going to now be working with me. It's also what's that firm's perception in the marketplace. What other customers do they have that they've done similar things for me? And those are really the top 3 things that we see companies making big mistakes on.
Interesting. Now, Kevin, I'm just curious, where do you see the global services industry going in the next 10 years?
Well, it's very interesting. I think you're going to see, for sure, a real focus on software as a service. There's going to be focus in automation. There's definitely going to be more outsourcing, outsourcing offshore as well. We're seeing a lot of remote infrastructure management, again, happening offshore. And so what that means is, and in fact, recently I spoke at a conference here in Southern California, the SOTEC 2008 conference. And interestingly enough, I was asked a similar question, and what it means is that we need to retrain a little bit here in the United States. Particularly in the IT space, we're going to have to be more focused on business process initiatives to be able to support these outsourcing opportunities. And that means that people that were historically supporting these initiatives in the United States are going to have to be more strategic, thinking about how to support their businesses with more value, thinking about how to support their financial initiatives, strategic initiatives, business initiatives, accounting and financial initiatives, not from a technical standpoint as they have in the past, but actually from a business standpoint. And that's going to require some retraining of U.S. labor force from my perspective.
Very interesting. Kevin, David, thank you both for joining us today. We look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks a lot, Tracy.
Once again, that was Kevin Parikh, CEO of Avasant, and David Etzler, CEO of Outsource World. Log on to WallStreet.net for more information on the company or to view the company's profile page. You're watching the 3 Minute Press Show. I'm Tracy Tolentino, and we'll be right back.